I'm Crash. I'm here today with Don Hall Works YouTube to show you how to make dice towers. You can do all different kinds. Generally, a lot of people, when they build these, they build them with slab. I do them a little bit different. And I'm going to be showing you how to do that today. Dice towers, just in case you're wondering, are used to roll dice while playing board games or TTRPGs. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks, Don, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, when you build dice towers my way, there's a little bit of prep you have to do. As you can see, I've thrown cylinders, and you do want them to match fairly closely right along that seam. And then pre-make some slabs. I cut these down to these circles, but we're going to cut these down further. And you want everything leather hard, able to handle. We're going to do some cutting and stuff. So you do want this at a good leather hard. You don't want it too dry because it will crack if you cut it. You don't want it too wet because then you can't handle it. So you're going to start with, and what you need is going to be 2 full circles and 2 cylinders to start. Okay. Once you have all of your stuff ready, you're gonna do some cuts to begin with. I have some kind of funny things I do that with. You wanna make sure that these slabs are gonna fit inside these cylinders. So that's where this comes in. It's about the same size. So then I'm gonna cut these down. I'm gonna pick the part of the pattern that I like the best and then just cut around them, cut them out. And they don't have to be perfect. We're going to kind of fit them in anyway. So just give you a good sense of shape. Then we're going to do a cut on the cylinders. On your top cylinder, the one that's going to be on top of your dice tower, you want something that's going to nicely fit dice after the shrinkage rate. So you can do any kind of design with these guys. I have square ones and triangle ones and funky open ones that are really fun. You just want to make sure there's going to be enough room to pop your dice down. And then sometimes I'll save this to make like a little trap door on top or something else. So your scraps are always quite useful. And then on the second piece is going to be where the dice come out. So you're going to want a nice wide entrance that the dice can exit out of. And then again, this doesn't have to necessarily be any specific shape. You just want the hole big enough that when the dice comes down and out, there's enough room. Like that. So, and then you can clean up these shapes a little bit so they're nice. This right here, you definitely want it to be angled out. It's not a big deal right now because we're going to build on that. I'll show you that in just a second here. You can cut all your little corners off. You know, make sure this is a nice shape right here. Get it all ready to go. So that's what the base kind of looks like on this one, the top, and then these are going to stack like this eventually, but we have one more step first. We're going to take our cut cylinders and we're going to put our panels inside. And for that, you're going to want some coils to help and some slip to help get that all set up. So on this first one, I take my cylinder and I cut it at either like a 3/4 quarter or a 2/3 third. Right, like that. And then flip them over. And along the round side, we're going to add that score and slip. So and then in your top piece with this setup, you're going to flip it over and you are going to place it so your panels are facing angled down. And then you're going to score below that point. Add some slip up in there. And you want to make sure the angle is down enough that your dice aren't going to get caught. And then you want to put those coils up in there to make sure that it's nice and secure. And then on the other side, you're going to do the same thing. You want to make sure that the other side is low enough down that you are letting the dice pass through. So you can kind of see that and also tell it with your fingers when you put that in to see if there's enough space for the dice to move through. See how you can see through the hole pretty well. And I'm doing a little bit of a spiral angle on this guy, which is great. You just want to make sure that you don't really have any flat spots when you do this part, as that is asking for your dice to get stuck in these. And do remember there will be shrinkage, so a little extra room is always nice. And then again, you're going to put that second coil in there just to make sure everything is smooth. And I like to make my cylinders big enough that you can definitely maneuver inside of there. The smaller your cylinders are, the more difficult it is to do this stage. So that's how that setup is. Then I let these sit for a little bit. You know, I'll smooth in those coils nice and better. This one's going to be the same, except it's going to be one solid panel and it's going to be angled out. So I'm going to cut off a little more off this edge just so it will fit nice in there. And then again, you want to make sure this is angled so it's down and out. And that there's no flat gaps. And on this one, actually, you can do your scoring and slipping before. I like to make sure it fits first, that there's an angle nice. Kind of leaves you a path then to pull it out, score along, you know, where the clay had touched clay. Make sure to score the back of your panel so it all sits in there nice. And then get the slip going. Get your coil kind of set in there for it to lean on. Slip your panel nice. And get it in there nice and at the angle. There we go. So then I let those set up for a minute, and then I'll show you what the next step is. All right, now that we have everything cut out and our panels put in nice, we're gonna combine our top and bottom. And that's pretty straightforward. Again, you're gonna score and slip your top and your bottom pieces. Now I really like this method of dice tower because while you are kind of sitting, sometimes waiting for things to set a little bit to the right clay stage, it doesn't seem to take, for me at least, as long as making slabs, waiting for them to get to the perfect state, combining them into box slab builds, and then putting the panels in that way. This way, to me, is just so much more easy, straightforward, and you can kind of get a great dice tower out of it without spending forever slab building. Don't get me wrong, I do love a good slab build, and this does have slab build elements, but this kind of speeds it up so you can just focus on decoration and having fun with them. So after I score and slip, we're going to combine the two just straight on. I do like to keep in mind when I place this kind of how the panels line up and the dice are going to flow. Then I set it on and I kind of line it up nice and get it squeezed together. And then I let this sit again to kind of let those two pieces join and clean it up a bit, just like I did the panels. And then after that, we'll move on to decorating, and I'll show you that in the next step. So now that the dice tower, as far as its structure and as everything is done, you can move on to decorating. And that can be anything you like. A lot of people who use these are into Dungeons and Dragons or other TTRPGs. So it's perfect for like a castle or a fairy house or something along those lines. Sometimes they're into Call of Cthulhu, and you can always do a acolyte, secret Cthulhu monster situation. You can also just use this as the center and sculpt on top of it. So this could maybe be a bust where you put the dice down the mouth. I had a friend who did a Beetlejuice situation, and this had everything kind of homaging to that. So it's really yours to do as you wish. I think I'm gonna build this guy up a little bit, make a little bit more of a rise there. So yeah, at this point, have fun. Jump into it, make it anything you want. Use all those pottery skills. Do remember when you're sculpting or building, scoring and slipping is your best friend if you want things to stick. And just kind of have a good go out of it. Thank you so much for joining me and Don Hall Works YouTube today in how to make a dice tower. And I can't wait to see everything you come up with.